Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. We got a great episode for you today, man. Welcome back to the first interactive sports podcast. You know, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So I appreciate you tuning in. And if you hear something you agree with, disagree with, you like, you dislike, feel free. Shoot us a call, leave a voicemail, 219-413-9405, and we will play your take back on air for our next episode. Now, I've been gone a minute. I was on vacation. I'm finally back. And I missed a lot of different conversations, but one of the things, I'm not going to take you all the way back into like the conversations of every single thing that I might have missed, but one of the things that I'm definitely going to bring back is that GOAT point guard conversation between Magic Johnson and Steph Curry. Y'all got to cut this out, please. Because this answer is so simple. It didn't even need to be a conversation. I thought we already knew this. I thought we already had the answer decided. I thought we came to this agreement as a collective, but clearly we didn't. So I'm here to tell you right now, Magic Johnson does not do 5 things better than Steph Curry. He literally does not do 5 things better than Steph Curry. And I know that hurts some feelings, but all that 6'3" Steph Curry, he can dribble better, he can shoot better, he can finish better, he can score better, he can create a shot better. Magic Johnson has the passing, which we'll give him that, all right? I'm not going to hate him on that. He has the passing. He even has the rebounding. He's 6'9". He can rebound better than a lot of centers in his time, honestly. He can defend 1 through 5, so I'll even give him the defensive aspect as well. When it comes to playing off the ball, playing on the ball, scoring with the ball, and being a facilitator on the team, that kind of balances each other out. But Steph Curry is still just as impactful in controlling every aspect of his team as well. And ultimately, this is the thing you guys got to keep in mind. When we talk about the best point guard of all time and skill set and stuff like that, this is what I'm referring to. I mean, I'll clarify that in a second, but ultimately, this is what it comes down to. If Steph Curry had the height of Magic Johnson doing what he already does on the floor, there wouldn't even be a conversation about Mike, Kobe, or Bron. And that's just plain facts right there. If Steph Curry still had all the abilities and you give him a couple more inches in height to make him as tall as Magic Johnson, it wouldn't even be a question about it. But if you give Magic Johnson the height of Steph Curry, what kind of point guard would Magic Johnson be? The thing that makes Magic Johnson such a great player outside of his abilities is the height, because it gives him leeway to do great things on the floor like rebounding and being able to defend people 1 through 5 and being able to even score as easily as he was able to score at that time. But at 6'3", if Magic Johnson had that height, he would be a basic point guard, and he damn sure wouldn't be the guy leading a historic franchise to multiple championships. So I'm not here to tell you what Magic did wasn't crazy. I understand that. I get Magic Johnson. It's Magic Johnson. What he did was so crazy. People literally called him Magic. like how crazy is that? That man's name is not Magic. It's Irving Johnson, and they literally called him Magic. People nowadays assume his first name is Magic. If you ask a kid nowadays, and you say Irving Johnson, he's not gonna know who the hell that is. And it's that simple. He's really not gonna know. And this is also a man who identified what a true point guard means to the NBA and what a true point guard is on a team and how impactful a true point guard can be on a team. So I'm here to give Magic all of his flowers. He made the point guard position glamorous. Someone who truly makes his team better, someone who truly makes his teammates better, a facilitator, a leader, someone who can score at will, gets their teammates involved, gets them motivated, gets them going, controls the floor at all aspects, offensively and defensively. And through evolution, you can still count on your point guard to provide these same exact characteristics that were implemented by Magic Johnson, who made this position glorious. But when I say Steph Curry is better, I don't mean accomplishments. I don't mean impact. I don't mean rings. I don't mean fame. I don't mean the celebrity. I don't mean any of that. When I say Steph Curry is better, I'm specifically talking about who you see as a basketball player, and a clear-cut definition of how I define the greatest is someone who has the best skill set and abilities in their profession. And this happens to be while playing basketball. And Steph Curry, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you want to spice this conversation up, Steph Curry is a better point guard from a skill set standpoint, and his abilities of what he can do with the ball as a basketball player is much greater than Magic Johnson based on evolution. Now, overall accomplishments, this conversation can go another way. If you base this conversation on who's the greatest based on accomplishments, rings, and the impact and all of that stuff, and then you want to add in skill set, all right, this conversation can go another way. But based on skill set, Steph Curry is the GOAT point guard, and it's an easy, valid argument. All right, now look, let's switch the mood up. I've been holding on to that for a long time. I got to tell you, I've been holding on to that all vacation. I couldn't make no videos. It was a cruise, so I couldn't do much. But the NBA, they're right around the corner. They're coming back close to Halloween, and it's a lot of matchups that's kicking off the first week in the NBA. And I'm looking forward to it. You got the Lakers and the Nuggets, the Suns and the Warriors, Lakers and the Suns, 76ers, Bucks, Warriors, Kings, Celtics and the Heat, Lakers and the Kings. It's a lot of great matchups. But some of the matchups I'm for sure going to watch. I would love to watch all of them, but truthfully, I don't I don't think it'll work that way. But some of the matchups I'm really anticipating is the Suns and the Warriors. They both got a lot of players that's new to their teams. CP3 on the Warriors now with Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. You add Bradley Beal to the Phoenix Suns. That's going to be interesting. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, still got Ayton. And it's going to be interesting. Then you look at the Lakers and the Suns too, which kind of gives the Suns another matchup. So I'm really just interested in the Suns, and I'm curious to see how it's going to work out with Bradley Beal playing that point guard spot. It hasn't been officially released, but this is the anticipated lineup of having Bradley Beal at the 1, Devin Booker at the 2, Kevin Durant at either 3 and 4, and Ayton at the 5. But I see this being a difficult spot for the Phoenix Suns because Bradley Beal has always had a point guard to help feed him the ball. John Wall when he was early on in his career, then Russell Westbrook on the back half leading up until now, even though he's still in his prime. But it's going to be forced, or Bradley Beal is going to be forced to facilitate more and score less playing that point guard position. Because when you play the point guard position, it's tough to get more shots up without seeming selfish when you bring the ball up court. And what I mean by that is, I understand, you can dish the ball and reset, go get to your spot and get comfortable where you want to score. But the chances of you doing that with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, who's always in attack mode, are very slim. And then even then, if you play that way where you're like, all right, it's your turn to get a bucket, you begin to play pickup ball in the NBA and look for whose turn it is to score. Is it your turn to score? Is it my turn to score? Is it going to be KD to score? Is it Devin Booker? Is it Bradley Beal now? Because you're just pretty much playing, all right, I'm going to let you go get in your spot and let's see if you can get a bucket now. And I mean, that only works for so long. When the playoffs come, that's not going to work as good as we may think it is. And I know these guys are straight offensive gurus. I get it. But it didn't work in Brooklyn when we thought Kevin Durant and Kyrie was going to be able to play that way. You see what the Celtics did to them. Sweep. Got them out of there. Sweep for game 4. Just to say it in there. Might as well say 4 sweeps. But my whole point here is it's not going to maintain when you go in the postseason trying to play that way. They'll need specific sets in order within the offense. And right now, I don't think they have that. They still need a true point guard, or at least a 3-and-D point guard to give order. Still don't have any bench support. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they match up against the Warriors and see how they match up against the Lakers. Because the Warriors, they're a smaller team. They're a little bit quicker. They already kind of got things figured out a little bit, but they add Chris Paul. So they're still kind of figuring some things out. But the Lakers, bigger team. They got some great role guys, solid bench depth. And then, Bron and AD, that dynamic duo is crazy. So I think that's going to be very interesting. But look, we got some news for the run coming up in just a second, so don't go anywhere. We're going to play a couple of quick ads, and then we will be right back. We got the Untold Swamp, whatever the documentary is called, Swamp Kings with Florida University. Some college football coming up as well, and we got some news for you, so stay tuned. We will be right back. All right, and news for the run. Spain has won the Women's FIFA 2023 World Cup. Spain beat England in the championship game, which gives England number 2. And Sweden, they finished in 3rd place after defeating Australia 2-0. Now, former Vikings running back Dalvin Cook signed a 1-year deal with the New York Jets for roughly $8.6 million. San Francisco 49ers, they traded their quarterback, Trey Lance, who was the former number 3 draft pick. Now, Lance was sent to the Cowboys for a 4th-round draft pick, and according to ESPN, the deal happened because Lance was informed he was beaten out of the number 2 spot as quarterback, 2nd and 3rd to Brock Purdy and someone else. However, enter Miami. They won their first trophy in club history as they defeated Nashville in the League Cup final. Lionel Messi, he scored a game-winning goal in a penalty kick shootout. And to add to this here, man, Lionel Messi, he's making the MLS look extremely easy. And it has to be a reason for it, right? I get it. And let's look over his resume because the man has been balling in the Champions League for multiple years. This is one of the most prestigious soccer leagues in the world. Clearly, he's accomplished a lot on a national scale as well, winning a national title for Argentina, finally bringing one home. And I just got to let you guys know, if you haven't figured this out already, Lionel Messi is someone who's played in the most competitive soccer leagues in the world, all over, and now he's in the MLS. This man is playing in the MLS for fun. He's not in the MLS trying to seriously compete, bro. This is a retirement plan for Lionel Messi, to be honest. Like, I'm gonna give you a quick analogy and tell you how this really falls into other sports. Like, I'm gonna connect it with other sports just in case you don't follow soccer a lot. And I don't follow soccer too much either, but I know a little bit about each league, and the MLS is garbage. So this is as if Tom Brady retired from the NFL and said, all right, bet, I'm gonna go play arena football, or I'm gonna go play in the XFL and make a name for myself. Like, that's silly, right? And he's gonna dominate, clearly, because it's Tom Brady. So he's gonna pick all the defenses apart. He's gonna just kill everybody in that league. And that's what's going on with Lionel Messi in the NBA. Pretty much LeBron James in the NBA saying, all right, I'm gonna retire, go play for a G League team and take them to the championship. That's what's going on right now, because anybody who's ever watched a soccer game can see the clear-cut difference in skill between the Premier League, Champions League, National League, and the damn MLS. Come on now. It's arena football compared to the NFL. It's the NBA G League compared to the actual NBA. Lionel Messi is the GOAT, but he's just playing soccer just to play soccer because he loves the game. He's just having fun out there. He's not even really trying to compete against these guys in the MLS because it's not even fair. It's silly at this point. So anyway, look, as I mentioned, American football is here again. I watched the docuseries Untold, Swamp Kings from Florida University, and that covered 2006 to 2010. And I love that it showed so many different things in this documentary. First and foremost, this documentary was put together very, very well. It was great in terms of how the timeline went, in terms of how much it showed with the players' perspective, even the coaching perspective, and even the political perspective of Florida University before they got Urban Meyer. So I really enjoyed this documentary. It was great, and I love that it showed how much the collegiate athletes gave to their craft, what it takes to win multiple championships, and a few reasons why people transfer schools, and also my favorite, why most college coaches don't do well when they try to go play in the NFL. Now, that's kind of the point I want to talk about here, because when you're a college coach and you're coaching these collegiate athletes, you're working with kids pretty much 18 through 22 years old, and they have a lot more to lose than the guy who's already professional. And I understand NIL deals kind of make that difference because it sorts out who really loves the game, who can get that instant gratification, and who just loves what comes with the game. So I get the NIL makes a big difference. But for those trying to advance to the next level, there's a lot of reasons for them to buy in. They're trying to get to the next level, trying to get to the NFL, trying to be top in the draft, all of that stuff. It's easier to get those guys to sacrifice. They don't have families. They don't have money for some of them. A lot of them have plenty of time, but they're away from home and they don't have money in their pockets. All they have is the game of football while they're at school playing under a head coach. So those are some of the things and some of the reasons why it's easier to get those guys to buy in versus professionals. Because, for example, you tell an 18-year-old that, hey, you got to go fight this guy in practice. You got to wrestle him to earn your spot. He's not going to think twice about how that hurts his longevity in the game of football. He just wants a starting spot. So he's doing whatever coach is telling him he got to do to get that starting spot. But it's rare you'll see a group of full-grown adults at the professional level, try and do these sort of things in desperate situations because they got more to lose. They're already probably thinking about a retirement plan, and I've been playing in the league for 4 years. How much longer do I want to play, and what do I want to do after the NFL? So there was so many things of drastic workout measures that was shown in the series. And Urban Meyer, he definitely went to drastic measures for each individual because he made sure this team was built different. I mean, they gave workouts until the arms failed, to the legs failed, to the core failed, to everything gave out, the toughness drills, the wrestling scene. I don't know if you watched it yet, but this is a spoiler alert. The wrestling scene when Urban Meyer had the guys, pretty much you had to stop someone from getting off the wrestling mat by any means necessary, and it got brutal. It got brutal. I mean, these guys were elbowing in the head. They were punching in the ribs, punching in the gut, choking each other out. Like, it damn near reminded me of that scene in Django when the two slaves was fighting in front of their masters with DiCaprio. That's a side note, but that's really what it reminded me of, honestly. And Urban Meyer literally said he wanted to make guys quit because they were working so hard and get rid of all the bad mojo. It was either all Lions on the team or nothing. And it showed that throughout the documentary on multiple occasions. And that's just something you can't really get guys to do in the NFL because there's just so much more to lose. And certain habits of coaching college don't transfer over the same way certain habits of playing in college don't transfer over to the NFL. Everything doesn't transfer to that next level. Example, Chip Kelly was a great coach, but was god-awful in the NFL. Nick Saban, one of my personal favorites, stunk it up in the NFL with the Miami Dolphins. Had to go back to Alabama. Urban Meyer, in most recent times, was great at Florida, was great at OSU, but was god-awful with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He did a hell of a job in college, but it was awful in the NFL. And there's a reason for that because you can get your guys to buy in at unimaginable amounts of gratitude and just they wanted more. Some of them wanted more, but it's a lot of reasons why he was able to get his team to buy in that way. Now, in the topic of college football, there's a couple of matchups coming up, and I'm very interested to see these. I'll be watching really quick LSU and Florida State coming up this September 3rd. I'll be watching that one. This is the most anticipated for week one, at least for me that I'm watching. So maybe you can watch it with me. You can check it out, but I know for sure that's something I'm going to catch. I'm a firm believer that Florida State can win this game, and they will win this game to start the season. Now, LSU, they got the big name, but I think they're slightly overhyped, and I'll get to that in a second. But last year, it was an incredible thriller between these two teams, and they really balled out. So I'm expecting something great. Again, Florida State, they won last year off a blocked field goal. Both teams made a lot of mistakes, but it came down to the wire, and I'm really excited to see what this year holds between these two teams. But some of the reasons I favor Florida State is because their offense has been strong over the past few years, and their defense was also ranked top 25 by the end of the season last year. They had the Heisman candidate, Jordan Travis, and he's been great over these past few years since he's been at Florida State. Had a 64% completion rate off 353 attempts last year. He's the only player in Florida State school history to rank top 10 in passing and rushing touchdowns, and still has another season. Holds the school record in quarterback rushing touchdowns. Holds the record for quarterback rushing yards. and fourth in all-time touchdowns with Florida State as well. So I think this offense is really going to go over the limit. I like the way he played last year, Jordan Travis, and I think he's still going to keep it up. I hope so. But as far as LSU, the defense, as I mentioned, overrated. Offense is slightly overrated as well, but they're not exactly what we think. They're already down one man, and he's someone who's a leader. Mason Smith, he balled out, and he had to serve his suspension, so he's going to miss this game. But LSU's, their defense wasn't even top 15 last year. The offense was ranked 24th last year. And I think it's just a lot of hype that's going into the school name and not necessarily the level that they have of guys on the team. And who knows, anything can happen. But even last year, LSU, they didn't force Florida State into a single 3-and-out until the fourth quarter of the game. And there was a lot of mistakes on both sides of the ball. But like still, man, I can't believe in a team just because of the hype that they have. And right now, LSU, they are the favorites, according to ESPN. But I'm siding with Florida State, man. I think Florida State is definitely going to take this one here. And they also haven't lost to LSU since 1982. So this game is in Florida. Last time these two matched up in Florida, Florida State won 42-3. I doubt it gets that crazy. I doubt it gets that crazy, but it's going to be a close game. But I see Florida State adding on to the 5-game winning streak against LSU in a win on September 3rd. But anyway, if you heard something you disagree with, you agree with, you like, you didn't like, feel free, shoot us a call, 219-413-9405. Follow us on Instagram as well to see more of the clips of what we covered at the Run Podcast. You can follow my personal as well at I am Manny Wilson. But until then, we will be back later on next week, and so on and so on and so on.